Finally, some new DumaOS firmware news. Unfortunately, it's not the news we've all been waiting for. New firmware release. However, this is a step in the right direction, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So under news and announcements within the forums, there's a new announcement post, DumaOS Firmware Progress. And if we dig in, it says, hey all, as a part of our effort to be more transparent, we'll now keep you updated with the firmware progress via a regularly updated knowledge base article. You can use this to see how we're getting on with upcoming firmwares instead of having to check through support topics to find the latest information. You can check it out here. So this is something that I've complained about and the community has complained about at large. We don't really know what's going on with firmwares for each one of the routers. I own an R2. I also own an XR500, so I'm looking for both. But there are people who just own the XR routers or just own the R2 or R1 routers, and you just want to know what's going on, and digging through the forums over and over and over, asking the same questions over and over and over, it gets a little old. So this consolidates everything where we see exactly what's going on within the knowledge base. DumaOS firmware progress. You can see exactly when it was last updated, April 6, 2022. If you need the latest firmware, it's right here. If you need any support, if you didn't come from the forums, you can go back to the forum. And then there's this really important note right here. Please remember it is normal to find bugs in firmware testing. This is a part of the process and not a cause for concern. I've seen in the past where it was mentioned they had some bugs that they had found. It's going to take a little bit longer, and people kind of freaked out about that. Oh no, there's bugs. Oh, it's so broken. Overreaction, not understanding development of things. That's the whole point. Let's find the bugs, because there's gonna be bugs. We're writing code. Let's fix those things. Let's test it again. Make sure it doesn't break. Let's do that over and over and over again until we have something that's stable. So it takes time. I understand that. Darn it all, I'm ready for DumaOS 3.2 like everybody else, although I think it's coming soon. So the NetDuma R1 is current firmware version 3.0.207. They're just monitoring our feedback. At this point, the R1 is really old. I don't really see the point in bringing 3.2 over to the R1. I think most people have upgraded to another router at this point, whether it's the R2 or one of the XR routers that have DumaOS. At this point, I feel like R1 is just old and not really necessary to continue updating. The NetDuma R2, hey, this is a new router. We got to get stuff going with this. We're currently on 3.0.394. We're going to be getting 3.2. It is in closed beta, and the latest DumaOS firmware is in closed beta testing. I've heard through the grapevine they've been beta testing for a while. I've also heard that they did run into some stuff that they wanted to get fixed. That is actually good news. I know they're working really hard on the DPI part of everything, deep packet inspection. For anybody who's paid close attention to DumaOS over the years, sometimes the deep packet inspection doesn't register everything properly. There's been questions about it. Sure, everything still works, but I know they're working hard to make sure that it actually gets shows up properly within DumaOS. So when you go to play Call of Duty, for example, it actually shows up as Call of Duty in your network instead of just gaming or some other thing. So those are things they're working really hard on, and I expect to be way better in this next version 3.2. So seems like it's going to be a little bit longer, hopefully not too much longer. The XR routers, Netgear Nighthawk Pro Gaming routers. We have the XR300, and as you can see right here, we're still on 3.0. 3.2 is planned. Thank goodness. The 300 users have been waiting forever to get anything, and it's been very frustrating. I know a lot of people have come by my channel and said, hey, what's going on with the 300? And then 6 months later, I had to get rid of it. It just, no updates, doesn't look like anything's happening. As of April 2022, they're working on it for 3.2. This is good. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. Hopefully by the summertime when people are, they're vacationing and other things, but kids are home and people are playing a bit more games, in my opinion, because, more free time to do so. The XR 500 and 450, all right, they're on 3.0. 3.2 is being tested currently at NetDuma. They found some bugs. They're going to fix those, and then they're going to build a new firmware and see how that goes, and bug testing. This happens. Once all of that's done, of course, they have to send it off to Netgear. Netgear will add their things that Netgear wants, and bug testing there, back and forth, and then it'll finally come out to us. So hopefully not too much longer, probably a little bit longer than the R2, because the R2 is in-house at NetDuma and doesn't have the Netgear layer of things. So it's just that. So I would think hopefully the R2 stuff comes out, and then within just a few weeks, month, maybe 2 at the most, we finally see the XR 500 and 450 follow close behind. Followed by that, looks like the 700. So I know the 700 is in testing because they say so. But they found some bugs there, and they're gonna build out a new thing. So cool. So the XR 500, 400, and 700 look like they're coming sooner rather than later. The XR 300, and then we'll get to it here in 1 second. The XR 1000 look like it's going to take a bit longer. So the XR 1000 3.2 was planned. The latest XR 1000 was pushed April 5th, and we'll soon start work on the next firmware. So they do have an XR 1000 update out now, but more stuff is planned for the 3.2. Again, they're going to have to build all that out, send it back and forth. Seems like it's actually going to take a little bit longer by the way they've worded everything here. Maybe not. Maybe all of the XR routers will fall shortly behind the R2, which is really what most people want. The Tessera stuff, they have some smart modems that you can grab up. They are 3.2, they're in testing, and one is in development. So that's some pretty cool stuff when it comes to the Tessera stuff, which I don't know too much about. That's newer, and I haven't been able to ever check that out. Hopefully one day. So anyway, this is a step in the right direction. No, it's not firmware yet, unfortunately. As soon as firmware releases, you guys know I'll be all over it. I'm excited for the DPI changes, to see how everything works together, see the improvements, spend time with it like I have DumaOS 3.0. I'm hoping 3.2 is a pretty big leap, and it seems like once they get that all done, we can maybe start seeing some new features. That would be pretty cool as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and until the next time, as always, take it easy.